Good morning to one and all. I am Parthivan, working as assistant professor in the Department of ECE, Sri Muthukumaran Institute of Technology, Mangadu, Chennai. Now I am going to talk about the subject called satellite communication, which is coming under regulation R 2021. The subject code is CEC 352. Now I am going to talk about the Earth eclipse of satellite. So, which is a very important parameters in the study of satellite communication. In this lecture, we are going to see about what is satellite eclipse, why eclipse is occurring, how eclipse affects the satellite performance, and what is sun transit outage, and then how satellites are launched, and what are the types of launch vehicles that are available. These are the things that we are going to see about this. These are the basic concepts and very important concepts for understanding the real world satellite operation and its performance. Let us begin the understanding with the satellite eclipse. What is satellite eclipse? So here the eclipse of satellite occurs when the satellite passes through the shadow of Earth. This happens only when the Earth blocks the sunlight from reaching the satellite. Normally, the satellite receives power from the solar panels. So the solar panels generally convert the sunlight into electrical energy. However, during the eclipse, the sunlight is blocked. So this means the satellite does not receive solar power. This phenomena occurs when the Earth's equatorial plane aligns with the Earth's orbital plane around the Sun, that is called eclipse plane. This alignment happens only during the equinox period. During the period of the satellite must depend on the battery for its operation. Then we can see about the duration and occurrence of the Earth eclipse. So geostationary satellite experiences eclipse once every day during the eclipse season. The eclipse duration varies between 10 minutes to 72 minutes. This occurs mainly around two important periods, that is called, one is spring equinox, the other one is autumn equinox. Spring equinox is nothing but the first day of autumn. Spring, then the autumn equinox is the first day of autumn. During this period, the sun crosses the equator. This causes the satellite to enter the Earth's shadow. However, due to the tilt of Earth's axis at 23.4 degrees, the satellite receives sunlight most of the year. Eclipse occurs only during the specific seasons. Then we can see about the Earth eclipse period around equinox days. The eclipse period begins about 23 days before equinox and it continues until about 23 days after equinox. This means the eclipse season lasts about for 46 days. During this period, the satellite experiences eclipse every day. The eclipse duration gradually increases and it reaches the maximum and then decreases. This is an important consideration in satellite power system design. The engineers must ensure the satellites have sufficient battery capacity to withstand the pressure. There are some causes and effects of satellites that we are going to see now. The eclipse satellite affects the satellite performance in several ways. The first, during the eclipse solar panels that cannot generate power, the satellite must rely entirely on battery power. Second, the battery usage reduces the battery life over the time. This reduces the overall satellite lifetime. The third one is some satellite transponders may be turned off to save the power. This reduces the communication capacity. The fourth one is the thermal stress that occurs during the sudden change in temperature. This may affect the satellite components. Therefore, the eclipse management is very critical for satellite operation. Then we are going to see about the sun transit outage. Another important phenomena during equinox is called sun transit outage. This occurs when the sun, satellite and earth align in the straight line. The sun is a powerful source of microwave radiation. When sun is directly behind the satellite, the earth station antenna receives the signal from both satellite and sun. The sun produces a strong noise. This noise interferes with the satellite signal. So this noise affects the TV broadcasting, communication systems, as well as the satellite data transmission. Then coming on to the next stage, that is called, we can say, the launching satellite. The satellites are launched into space using rockets or space shuttles. Most satellites are launched using rockets. After launch, the rockets carry satellites into orbit. Once the fuel is exhausted, the rocket stages full back to Earth. Then the satellites may require orbital adjustment. This is done by means of using small onboard rockets called thrusters. The thrusters helps to position satellite accurately. Once the satellite reaches correct orbit, it can operate for many years. Then we are going to see about the orbital maneuvers. That is nothing but the Hoffman transfer orbit. The Hoffman transfer is the most efficient method of changing the satellite orbit. It is used to increase or decrease the satellite altitude. It uses an elliptical transfer orbit. The satellite moves from one circular orbit into another. This requires the minimum fuel and minimum efficiency. So the satellite completes half revolution in transfer orbit. It enters the final orbit quite easily. This method is widely used for satellite orbit transfer. Then coming on to the launch vehicles, the launch vehicle is which is nothing but a rocket that is used to carry the satellite into the space. It carries payload from Earth to orbit. The payload includes the communication satellites, the weather satellites, and research satellites. There are two types of prominent launch vehicles are available. One is called ELV, that is the expandable launch vehicle. The other one is called reusable launch vehicle. The expandable launch vehicles are used only once, whereas the reusable launch vehicle can be used multiple times. The launch vehicles plays a crucial role in satellite deployment. Particularly, we can see the various expandable launch vehicles here. These are particularly designed for one-time use only. After the launch, the rocket stages separate and fall back to Earth. Each stage burns the fuel and provides the thrust. After the fuel is used, the stage is discarded. The examples are Atlas rocket, Delta rocket, Ariane rocket. Here we have shown some of the prominent rocket launches. These rockets are used to launch the satellites into the particular orbit. These are very reliable and very widely used. Then coming on to the applications of launch vehicles, these are particularly used to launch the various types of satellites that are nothing but we can say the satellite types are communication satellites, weather satellites, remote sensing satellites, and then the navigational satellites. These are the prominent uses of satellites. These satellites in support of communication for weather forecasting, for GPS, and for research purpose we can use. The launch vehicles are essential for space missions. So these are the prominent uses of satellite launches and satellite vehicles. So with that, I am winding up the lecture. Thanking you one and all for hearing my lecture. Thank you one and all. These are the various references that I have gone through. Thank you one and all. Thank you.